Okay, hi, this is Leah Salmon, the Naturally You coach, and I'm here with my husband, Jamie Salmon. So, Mr. Jamie Salmon has just brought out another book. So this is his first book, which is Round and Round. And he has just launched a new book, an activity book that goes along with the actual Round and Round book. So we're going to have a quick chat about it. So, Mr. Salmon, do you want to start? Oh, look, it's on his t-shirt as well. Check out the t-shirt.
Yeah. Roundabout t-shirt. Be available very soon.
Am I getting one first about available very soon? I don't even have one. How do I have a t-shirt?
You have one.
Where is it?
One. It's somewhere. It's somewhere.
I would have worn it if I had one. Okay, so this is his book, Round and Round. So do you want to tell us about this book first, quickly, before we move on to the other one?
Okay, yeah, cool. So Round and Round's a children's rhyming storybook, and it's about group economics. So it's about a community of young business owners, and they all support and buy from each other, and it literally just shows how the money starts from Ade, which is the owner of the bank, and he spends it with Janelle, and it goes all the way around until the money comes back to him. So it kind of like, it subtly teaches about keeping the money in the community to build a community kind of thing. And within it, I've kind of hinted at different little things just to, just show different things regarding business. So you got like I said, Ade with his bank, and you've got one of the characters going to the wholesalers to get more stock. So, kind of hinting at, restocking and stock control. And then you got Cafe who wants to promote his business and get more business. So he hires a designer to create a banner and everything else. So even though it's very simple and it's
are you talking about? Oh yeah. Oh no,
yeah, the storybook. Yep. So even though it's very simple, I've tried to hint at different little things in terms of group economics and business, and just try and make it simple for children. Because otherwise, if you've got a book out talking about because group economics is quite a heavy subject, isn't it? Like economics sounds and business.
I think some things are as complex as we make them, because, bear in mind, 12-year-olds were being taught level stuff in ancient Egypt. I think the education system's been dumbed down a bit. So,
well, it's not so much being complex; it's making it interesting.
Yeah.
So I think if you can make it interesting, then you're you got their ears and then you got their attention. So, judging from the feedback I've had from the book, it's been out since 2018, so it's been quite a while. It's been out for now. It's been some really good feedback from children, from parents, carers, and educators as well. So that's what influenced me to do the activity book, to continue the conversation and go a bit deeper into, the ins and outs of group economics, and a little bit more about business and entrepreneurism.
Cool. So that is pretty much, you've already answered the next question, which is why you put the activity book together. And is there anything else you wanted to say about the activity book?
Like I said, it's just continuing the conversation. Like that's what I was getting mainly from parents and and teachers and stuff, is that it's a great the first book was a great introduction to group economics and entrepreneurism, but I think they just wanted something more, so they can just have a lesson, maybe have a series of lessons where they can kind of discuss the different things in the book. So that's why I created the activity book, so I can just highlight the different parts. Okay, so do you want me to read out some of the topics?
Yeah, do you want to?
Yeah, so some of the topics that's covered in the activity book is: what is group economics? How can group economics help our community? How do you practice group economics? My first business, business ideas, building a team, your passion and skills, company logo and brand, marketing and promotion, cost and profit, and stock control.
Actually, when you were, because, you know, you guys know we're married, so I'm not going to act like I wasn't there for the whole process. And every time I walked into the office and he was working on it, I didn't see it. But one of the things that I remember you saying is that you wanted to make sure that friends and connections was something that you taught children about, because you said, and you've even said it here, foundation of group economics is friendships and connections. So do you want to talk a bit more about that? Why you think friendship and connections is the foundation of group economics? Because for all intent and purposes, the foundation of group economics is moving money around the community. So why do you feel that is the foundation as opposed to just moving money around?
Yeah, I think that's what's missing, because how we're taught business and economics within you know, Europe is, you know, it can be very cold, can be very, like you say, just money, clinical, moving money about and stuff, which works. It does work, but I mean, in terms with as the Africans and Caribbeans in the diaspora, we kind of, I think we're a bit different in terms of our connection with people. Like, you know, if you go to a market in Lagos, or if you go to a market in, you know, wherever in Africa, there's a warmth, there's a, you know, people, there's an energy, you know what I'm saying? And I think that energy and the connection and just having that care and concern as well, because you know, when in like my experience with group economics is whenever I meet a new Black-owned business, I want to know about them. You know, I sit down and I speak to them. You know, I eventually get to know maybe their staff, their family, and just from having that connection and that making that connection with them, I've got more I'm more invested in them, kind of thing. So spending money with them is more of a pleasure. Like, you know, I want to, because, like, you know, that I know they've got a family, they've got children to feed. I'm happy to invest in their business rather than me go to Tesco's and give my money to some faceless, you know, corporation that I have no invest in.
Tesco's has got children to feed as well. What are you trying to say, fam? Like, Mr. Tesco has got children to feed as well. So why don't we get to know Mr. Tesco? Mr.
Tesco does have children to feed. But the thing is, if I make a connection with my local Black-owned businesses or my local businesses, you know, there's more of a, like I say, the energy, the reciprocation. They're more likely to, if I support them, with their extra earnings or their extra profits, they can put money back in the community that we all are part of. Whereas Tesco's, they've got no invested interest in our communities, really, because they're not in our communities.
Tesco's is in everyone's community. We're talking about there's a Tesco in every community, fam. Yeah,
no, they're in our communities, but they don't live in our communities. So
I'm
talking about the owners, Mr. Tesco, whoever that is.
Yeah,
I mean, picking on Tesco's, but, you know, big corporations.
Pick on Tesco's, man. Do you think I care? Pick on Tesco's. Come tell me something, Tesco's, innit? Yeah, we're talking about you, innit?
And you know what? Talking about corporations, if I could. So I literally wrote a blog today because a friend of mine, a colleague that I did some work with in the African Caribbean Society in Enfield. So basically, you know, he saw that me doing the launch and everything, and he was really interested. He wanted to promote it on his platform, so he asked me to do a blog. So I started writing a blog, and in that I was kind of talking about the importance of group economics and everything else. And I remembered when growing up, because my mother had a grocery store in Tottenham, and I literally spent most of my time before I went to school in that grocery store. And she used to often tell us about how other Black people would come in the store and say, you're too thief, like, because her prices weren't the same as the super, because at that time, the supermarkets had just started to come into the communities. So they'll go into these supermarkets thinking, wow, this is only like this amount of price, and Mrs. Salmon's got it for, you know, this amount of price. She's a thief, kind of thing. But, you know, obviously they weren't understanding the buying power of these corporations have compared to these smaller businesses, and which has caused a decline in the smaller community businesses. But, you know, with group economics, and we promoting and empowering these small businesses, we can we can change that, I think, for the better for us.
So right now, we're in a fuel crisis, a food crisis, and an energy crisis where all the bills are going up and no one's pay is going up as well. So at these times, is it still viable for individuals who are strapped for cash to still invest in Black-owned businesses?
100%. There's always ways. Within the book, within the activity book, there's a section where I'm talking about, let me find it, where I am talking about purchase power. Okay, so with purchase power, in the example that I gave, it was 3 young people that have got shea butter companies. So as individuals, if they go to their wholesalers as individuals, they can make purchase of their shea butter to sell wholesale to retail. Okay, but if they use purchase power, they can all come together as a group, buy a bulk amount of shea butter, and yeah, a bulk amount of shea butter, and so for a cheaper price, so they're able to sell it for a cheaper price. So there's power in numbers. If we come together and do things, we can just be, we can probably not as much as the corporations, but we're able to get things at a cheaper price and still able to buy from smaller Black-owned businesses.
So that was showing how business owners can reduce their costs. What about us as consumers?
No, that's what I'm saying. If the business owners can reduce their costs, they'll be able to sell it retail for not as much as the price, for a lower price. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. So while they're doing that, because there's obviously going to be a time period involved in them being able to reduce those prices and coming together. In the meantime, do you still think the consumers, what benefit is there for us as consumers to still participate in group economics and supporting small Black-owned businesses until they are able to get their prices down?
Because like I said, it should be, practiced correctly, it should be a reciprocal thing where the business owners within the community, while we're supporting them, they can come back and support us. So with their earnings, all of the business, not just one of the businesses, maybe all of the businesses within the community can put X amount of money together and create something that the community wants or needs. So for example, maybe the people in the community want somewhere for their children to go during the holidays and stuff. So that they can build a community center, or so basically it's a thing where we're kind of doing for self. And I just see it working better for us in the long run, because as we can see how the world's going, and our governments and leaders, they don't seem to be kind of helping us that much. So I think we've got to kind of help ourselves.
So do you think it's kind of paying it forward for consumers to, even though Black-owned businesses may not be able to offer those cheaper prices right now, do you feel it's paying it forward for us as consumers to still invest in those businesses, even if their prices are a little bit higher, so that we can kickstart the group economics, so that we can benefit in the future?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's like with anything, anything that's big and extravagant always starts off quite small, and you have to have some kind of foresight, knowing that if you kind of work it now, that it's going to be this later on. So yeah, definitely 100%. Because we could play the short, the short view game, and just like play, buy from the big corporations that are cheap and everything else. But in the long run, I don't think they're there for us. Whereas with our our community businesses, our Black-owned businesses, we're kind of more, we realize we're more here for each other, kind of thing. So yeah.
Good. So how do you feel that teaching, what do you feel the state of Black economics is in the world right now? I mean, maybe you've already kind of answered this, but how do you see the state of economics for Black people globally right now?
Okay, well, I'm not a professor of economics. I don't I'm not an expert on economics or, you know, finances and that kind of stuff.
Okay, go on.
But my view is that, and it's quite deceiving because, you know, because the media's the media kind of paints a picture where it wants to paint, and it will show us celebrities that look like us, you know, Black celebrities, and they've got millions. You know, Beyonce, she's got millions, or that person's got millions, and it looks like, you know, we're doing good, we're doing all right, which we are. But I think, in my opinion, as individuals, I think a lot of us are doing very well. But I think as a collective, that's where I think our power kind of lacks. So it's the case of, like, you know, people saying that you know, we've got to come together kind of thing. And I think that's one of the main messages in the books for the children, is to come together. And I think there's a reason why us as older people don't, and there's a reason why it's easier for young people to as well.
So you're going to share?
Yeah.
You're going to share with us what the reason is?
Right. Okay. So
what do you think the reason is?
So I think the reason why it's difficult when you speak to older people about group economics. I think most older people, they agree that it's a good idea, but in terms of actual you know, put it into practice, that's where it's kind of been a problem. And I've kind of seen that over the years, personally. And I think that's 100% due to what they call the transatlantic slave trade, the kidnapping of our people and putting, you know, really bad conditions and stuff, and the indoctrination that was put upon us as well, you know, through things like Jim Crow, and you know, just the whole the self-hate that I believe a lot of us have, a lot of Black people have across the diaspora throughout the world. And yeah, we've been through a lot of trauma. And there's a doctor, I've forgotten her name, but she speaks about post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Degree.
And people don't
degree. I'm not pronouncing her name properly, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, doctor. I don't want to
get. yeah. I should have done that.
So she talks about she talks about how, you know, with, you know, anyone else that's been through trauma, like, you know, soldiers have, you know, veterans have been to Vietnam, been to wherever fighting and seen horrific things, and how, you know, they have to go through some kind of therapy, but no one talks about, you know, us as a people going through that as well. So I think there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of that thinking that still lingers in our community. But thankfully, I think these days, a lot of Caribbean and African parents are raising their children to have, you know, I think they have a lot more self-esteem. They're seeing a lot more inclusion in publications, in the media, and yeah, as parents, you know, it's kind of our job to try and share the positive things about ourselves. And the thing is, if children don't see themselves within the media and stuff, there's gonna be problems. So, you know, and that's another reason why I find it so important with the books, that they get to see themselves doing greatness. So, you know, they're gonna copy what they see, hopefully.
I just Googled it because that's all we can do in this day and age. So yeah, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Dr. Joy DeGruy Leary. Yeah. That's the one, the lovely one. So
so that's why I think
sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry. No, yeah, so that's why I think it's why I think that this is why I found it more difficult to speak with adults about group economics than with children. It's a lot more easier. They just kind of get it straight away. Okay, cool, start businesses, let's work with each other, why should we work with each other? And then you show them the benefits of working with each other, and then they're like, okay, cool. Where it's a bit different for adults. Not all adults. There's a lot of adults out there that are doing great, you know, in terms of group economics and the different platforms that are out there today. But yeah, it can only get better, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, we might as well big some up. So which ones are you talking about? What kind of, if people don't already know what organizations are already out there and what platforms are already out there that are promoting group economics and stuff like that? Because I know you shared one on your page the other day, our good brother, Paul Mohammed.
Oh, Paul. Okay, so
Yeah.
Money Mob.
Yep.
So you got the Money Mob. You got Mark and Charmaine Simpson. They do the black market. You got Black Pound Day. You've got oh gosh, what are they called again? Begins with J. Jamii.
Oh, Jamii.
Jamii. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jamii platform. Who else? What's the first thing that we done? The first thing we done was called the Blackout. I don't know what organization was that, but they had a thing called the Blackout, and I remember that's when we first started doing for a period of time that you just support black-owned businesses, and we went down to the
yeah, I don't know who started that actually.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I remember those initiatives, yeah. And then they kind of got a bit more formalized with some of the ones that you just mentioned.
And that's just in the UK. In America,
yeah.
They're just they're kind of a bit ahead, but you know, we're catching up.
No, America is doing bits.
Yeah.
That's what the young people say.
What's it called?
We Buy Black.
Georgia. We Buy Black in
We Buy
Atlanta,
Black.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
You remember when? So my brother's Julian Hall. You lot, if you didn't know, and obviously a lot of the stuff that we do was very much inspired. I could say a lot of the stuff that we do is inspired by my brother, and he just had, I think, his eighth his eighth children's business fair. And, you know, 95% of the children's businesses that were there were Black owned. So that is already an example of the first stage in what it is that, you know, Jeremy's talking about. It's encouraging, even our good brother, Claude Anderson, Powernomics. The first stage is owning businesses. The next stage is, I think he said, owning the media, then owning the government. But he speaks about the fact that when we've all got our own businesses, then we can start pooling money and pooling resources and working together. And that is obviously a big part of group economics. So my brother was saying that when he went to America, it was when he went to America, and a lot of people that go to America, they just experience what I think Black people in the UK kind of dream about, which is you can literally walk down a road. You can live in an area in America where there's a Black-owned petrol station, your phone is owned by a Black company, you go into a Black restaurant and then a Black grocery store and then a Black dry cleaners, and then you could even go to a cinema that's owned by Black people, a bank that's, you can go and cash money out in a bank. Like, you can live the Black-owned dream. You also then have, that's the heaven, and then you've got the hell side as well. You can experience heaven and hell as a Black person on the same day in America. So whilst I do 100% respect all of that, I'm very aware that white supremacy, racism, white supremacy, as our dear sister that's passed on, Frances Cress Welsing, elder that's passed on, speaks about it. Racism, white supremacy just exists everywhere, all around the world. So even in the UK, there are, you know, we have a lot of good Black-owned events and Black-owned experiences here in the UK as well. But then we also have, you know, you lose the World Cup and we're all back to being monkeys again. Do you know what I mean? So having said all of that, how much of an impact do you think it can have to teach children Black economics and group economics? How much of an impact do you think it can have against the backdrop of what I just spoke about, the fact that we've already got a lot of Black-owned businesses in America, but we're still facing persecution from the police. We have a lot more buoyancy in the Black-owned market in the UK, but we can still face racism at the drop of a hat. How much impact do you think your book is even able to have against all of that?
Do you know, I actually see that as a positive. The reason why I said that, because, like, if you notice, when group economics became really kind of prevalent within the UK, a few years back. That was during the time of the Floyd, Black Lives Matter, and you know, all that crazy stuff that was happening. And it was during that time that I think probably for the first time on a mass scale across the world, Black people actually thought to themselves, hold on a second, like my life doesn't really matter, right, to these people. Do you know what I mean? They actually realized that, wow, they're not taking care of us. We're not being looked out for. So maybe if we're not being looked out for, we're gonna have to do it for ourselves. And that was kind of and you could feel the despair in the air when you speak to people that were just like, you know, whether it's in the States or over here, it's like, yeah, I think it was like a sobering moment for a lot of people. And I think as a positive, it's a driving force to know that, oh, okay, cool, all right. If they're not going to behave, if they're not going to behave around us, then and be with us, then we just have to take care of ourselves. Not that we're going to hate them or we're going to put them to the side or anything. It's just that we need to have communities that are safe for us and our children. We need to have education that's fair for our children. We need to have products that's for us and by us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I see it as a positive thing. In terms of the books helping children, I think it's just trying to normalize. I'm glad you mentioned Claude Anderson and Julian Hall, because there were two people like Boyce Watkins as well, that kind of influenced Boise. Yeah,
I'm gonna call him Boise when I see him. See if he responds.
So yeah, people that have influenced what I was doing. And so with what I'm doing, I never really wanted to do something brand new. I just wanted to be a continuation of what Julian's doing. I wanted to be a continuation of what Boyce is doing. So, you know, the more of us doing it, the better, I think. And I think with what Julian's doing is fantastic, because he's just normalizing businesses for children. Like it's just normal now. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I think that's a huge first step. And I think the next step is having them work together. That's going to be powerful to me. So with the message that I put out, it's a very simple, quite clear message. Is three things: is build businesses, one, work with and support each other, two, and build communities or rebuild communities. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, just kind of normalizing setting up business and normalizing working with each other. I think just those two basic things. I don't think we have to really kind of like detail things out for the young people, because I think the young people today are just amazing. Like they've got so much creativity. They've just got different ways of doing things. So for us to just stifle them with our this is how you do it, I don't think that's the way forward. I think it's plant seeds, like give them a concept, give them an idea, and let them run with it, let them go with it. And that's what I see when I go to Julian's events. Like when I see a whole massive football pitch full of children and their tables and just innovative ways of how they're marketing. And yeah, I think the future is really bright for our children. And even though against the backdrop of all this kind of racism and you know, in America you've got the school, you know, shootings and the white supremacists, even against all of that negativity, I do strongly think that, you know, with different different organizations doing, you know, what, you know, Julian's doing, what Boyce is doing, what I'm doing, and other people across the world are doing, it's, you know, it's gonna eventually have a huge impact.
So there's a quote that thank you for that, by the way. There's a quote that I remember reading when I was getting into home educating and throughout my home educating journey, which is, a good teacher tells a student where to look but not what to see. So, and I think that's maybe sums up maybe what you were trying to say then about keeping things simple and then letting our children run with it. So I understand what you're saying about it, you know, helping to normalize being a business and normalizing group economics for children at an early age. But again, back to the question, do you think that doing that, or how do you think that doing all of that is going to be able to have a significant impact on what our children are going to experience in the future? Do you think it's going to have an impact so that our children don't have to experience what we're experiencing here in the UK and in America now? Do you feel that your book and the work that you're doing and the work that everybody else is doing is going to be enough to create an impact to prevent our children having to go through the same cycle that we are going through now?
Yeah, I think 100%. I mean, it's like what Dr. Claude Anderson talks about in terms of if you've got a strong economic structure within your community, you can dictate certain things. Like he talks about the presidential elections, and he talks about the Hispanic community in Florida, which is a big community. And because they practice group economics, they pool their resources, all their big companies come together, they come together financially, and they go to the president with a huge amount of money and say, look, this is for your campaign. What are you going to do for the Hispanic community? So they can now, just through economics alone, they can dictate how they're going to be treated, how, what kind of resources their people are going to have. And I think these are the tangible kind of things that can be gained from, and that's if we want to stay within, like the West. There's always the opportunity of, going to the Caribbean, going to Africa and working with the, working with the leaders there and stuff. So I think it's not the only solution, but I know once as a people, we have our finances sorted out, that's power. We can start dictating stuff, but without anything, we're just talking, marching and stuff. And, it hasn't really worked. So I do feel Dr. Claude Anderson and Powernomics, where he teaches, and how frustrated he is when he teaches because we're not we're not doing it as quick as probably he wants to.
So before we wrap up, because we actually have 6 children running around the house that we're meant to be looking after. Goodness. I'm downstairs and my husband's upstairs. So we're a buffer, we're a sandwich. At least they can't go through the roof or out the door. So there is something in place. How do you practice group economics?
Right, so how do we practice group economics is a good one, because I actually learned that from you.
Really?
Yeah, when we did that first blackout thing.
Oh, okay.
Because I was the same. I was like, wow, yeah, we need to do this. But then I was like, how do we do this? Because at the time in the UK, there wasn't much structure. There wasn't the structure that was like you spoke about. If you go to America, you go to a gas station. Like we was like, sometimes you have to travel miles. But now you've got the internet and stuff. You've got the online businesses. But yeah, so how we practice group economics is find platforms where you can find Black-owned businesses. There's a lot of them out there. We mentioned one, Jamii. Jamii's excellent. Black Pound Day. What do you call it? The Money Mob. The Money Mob are excellent. If no one's ever heard of the Money Mob, they literally find a Black-owned business and they just rush it and support it
in a good way, fam. Not with
in a good way. Everyone goes there and just buys their stuff and they buys their services, and they've got like a good, and make a good profit that day. But just find out where the Black-owned businesses are. There's loads of them. There's like so many adults, and even like with the children as well. Check out Ultra Education. There's so many Black-owned young children, teenagers, just with fantastic products and services. So yeah, that's the first thing. Find out where they are, and just support them. You can do it on Black Pound Day. You can do it every day. What we did when we was living in Luton, there was a grocery store. We went there and it was like, a Caribbean shop that we could buy a lot of our stuff from. And I remember we telling her that, we're gonna come every single once a month. We're gonna spend this amount of money. I think it was like about £100 we'd spend with her every month. And I remember looking at us like, yeah, whatever, yeah, I've heard that. She was very skeptical, and and I don't blame her for being that way. But yeah, we did every month. We went there and we just did a massive shop.
We went there every week.
Was it every week?
I went there every week.
yeah, every week we just went and just did a big shop with her all the time, just supported her. So she knows that, okay, she can kind of plan now, because she knows that from us, she's going to get X amount, £100 this month, and you know what I'm saying. So, you know, and
Yeah.
as a Black-owned business, it just makes a huge difference. It just really helps.
I will say,
Yeah.
there was another business, and this is what you don't do, family. There was another business that we chose to support as well, another Black-owned shop, grocery shop. Because we are a family of 8, we have a lot, we spend a lot on groceries. So when we decided we were gonna, remember, so when we decided we were gonna spend, we were only gonna shop from Black-owned businesses for like a week or 3 days, whatever it was, it meant we were directing a lot of money. Like, I did not shop in the supermarkets. I held all of that money and went to like a West Indian food shop that was probably not used to getting that level of spend. And again, there were 2 shops. There was, I'm going to name one of them, Miss Henry in Luton.
Hey,
I think
Miss
she's
Henry.
still there. I hope she's still there.
Yeah,
that's where we would go every week, because our children would go to karate. So we would go there after karate every Saturday, and I would do all the West Indian food shopping. So at the time, we were spending probably about a third of our food budget a week with Miss Henry, maybe sometimes more than that, actually, if I was able to. But then there was another food shop who we also decided we wanted to patronize as well. And I significantly noticed, because big food shop, you know, we had a budget. I don't really have a budget anymore, but we just buy what we need to buy. And but at the time we were on a budget, so I kind of knew how much everything cost. And I significantly noticed that after I went there a few times, like the first time I went there, they didn't even have enough bags to put our shopping in. That's how much we bought. Like, I was clearing shelves. They had to give us like boxes and stuff like that. We left there with like, they had to help us carry the stuff out. That's how much stuff we bought. And they were very appreciative. But after the 3rd or 4th time I went there, they were putting like 50p to £1 on some of the products that we were buying. And I came home and I'm like, babe, I'm sure this is more, you know. And then I don't think I said, maybe it was just me. So I just thought maybe it was me. But when I went back, and then I saw 2 of the other products had significantly gone up, like more than necessary. I was like, you see, that's what you don't do. That bit you don't do. On the other hand, just quickly, before I forget, where we live now in Wolverhampton, there's a West Indian food shop that we go to. So Miss Henry was lovely. She would even advise me on the cheaper West Indian foods to buy, so that I could make sure I was getting the most. If there was ever things that she could give me extra of, she would always give me extra of. And where we live now, there's a West Indian food shop that we go to called Libs in Fallings Park, kind of Bushbury Road area. And they really, again, they look after us. That's an example of when we shop there regularly, and he really looks after us. And that is another, so I understand why my husband put in the friendship and connection bit, because I feel reciprocity. I've showed the care to make sure I shop with him, and I can feel that reciprocity coming back by the way that he looks after us. You know, we'll go in there and he's offering our children sweets, and I'm like, they don't eat sugar. So then he'll offer us extra plantain and all that kind of stuff. That bit is what's going to build, is what's going to help group economics, is what's going to help build that Black economy. That means that we all benefit.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's one of the things that I put in the book as well, in the activity book, where I was talking about not just the business owners, but the customers as well, like how they can both work together, kind of thing. What's kind of expected of the customers and the business owners. And like I say, it's not a separate, it's a reciprocal thing. It's we all should be working with each other, kind of thing. Like I say, if the business owners are seeing that you're spending X amount of money and they put their prices up because of that, that's kind of greedy, in it. So that's not gonna work. And again, you know, if you've got like customers that's coming in and always kind of begging for freeness and, you know, things for cheap as well, like, you know, I'm really against that. Like, if anything, you know, I always want to pay you what you're worth, kind of thing. I don't want to put you out of pocket, because me doing that, I get cheap things, which is good for me, but, you know, I might not see you next month because your business has gone bust because of people like me asking, you know, for things for cheap. So, you know, it's a reciprocal thing. We've got to support each other. So yeah.
All right, I think we've spoken enough. What you need to do, fam, is you need to go to My Baobab Learning, and you need to pick yourself up one of these lovely books, darlings. All right. You can even get it on Amazon. You can get it, you can find out more about the work that he does on Instagram, My Baobab Learning. So these are the first 2 books. Do you want to Do you want to let us know about other stuff you've got coming out before I hit myself with the book again?
Okay, before I do that, I'm going to be, Saturday, I'm going to be at the Legacy Centre at the Black British Book Festival.
Yeah,
big
Big up to Selena.
Festival. Yeah, Selena, big up Selena.
I love Selena.
Fan
She's
of,
the loveliest person in the world.
And this will be the 3rd one, I think. This will be the 3rd one.
I think it's the 2nd.
Was the 2nd one, yeah.
Yes, 2nd. And Selena has another book out. So Selena is the sister that's got the book Nina and the Green Juice. You got it there? Yeah, and she's got another one that's a blue cover, and it's Nina and Quantum Physics.
Yeah,
check out my sister Selena's books, because she's amazing and I love her.
So yeah, so very quickly, so if you not if you're going to be there, when you come to the event, because it's a brilliant event, I'm going to be doing a raffle. So all you have to do is come to my table, just write, join the mailing list, and when you join the mailing list, you get a raffle ticket, and you have the chance of winning a combo set of both books, which is the Round and Round, there you go, the Round and Round activity book and the Round and Round story books. I've got a few of those I'm going to be giving away, so please come to that. And also on the website, you can get the new activity book at the reduced price as a, what do you call it?
Pre-order.
Pre-order, and yeah, I'll be sending those out in the next few weeks by the end of the month.
Go on.
Yeah.
Big man things.
That's it.
High five.
That's what we're doing. Slap. So yeah, the books that's coming out.
High five. High five.
So yeah, the next books that are coming out, you mentioned. So the next book that's going to come out is the Round and Round activity book number 2, because there's more information that I didn't get to put in the first one that's going to go into the second one that I can't miss out on, which I'm going to be talking about things like the Windrush generation and partner system. I'm going to be talking about what I mentioned a little bit in the first book, talking about the Black Wall Street, and just a few other things as well. I've got another book coming out called Bigger and Better, which is about one of the characters in the first book. Cafe has got the health food shop, and basically he scales up his business, hires staff, gets a business loan. Yeah, it's going to be great. And there's another book. There's another book coming out called Happy Jars, which is about a little girl where her mother teaches her about how she can save money by putting money in jars. So you've got different jars for for education, for fun, and for charity giving and stuff.
So by Kwanzaa 2022, we're going to be able to have like 3 books. You'd have a 3-book set.
Yeah. And
3 books and 2 activity books, in fact.
Yeah, and there's going to be some merchandise as well, but
some merch.
I'd rather not talk about it. Let's just make it happen. And yeah.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
It'll work.
Is there a book in the pipeline called I Have the Best Wife in the World, and her name's Leah Salmon?
Oh my goodness. That's already been written.
Where is it then? Is there an activity book to go with it?
You need an activity book.
Is there merch and a t-shirt as well?
Yeah, it's gonna be t-shirts.
All of that.
100%. Yeah.
It's gonna be a bestseller, I think.
I think it is.
Maybe you should forget all the rest of them and start with that one, just to let people know. Okay, it's late. That's why this is the. If we don't lock off now, my joke's just going to get worse. So, thank you for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for everyone that's already bought the book and that is going to be buying the book. And we look forward to seeing people on Saturday, the 4th of June at the Black British Bookstore. If you're Black British Book Festival event thing. The other thing that's also awesome that's happening in our family is that our gorgeous daughter has also just launched her new business called My Instant Journals, and you can find her at My Instant Journals on Instagram. And she has created a business where she designs and prints sticker sets to make your journaling experience more beautiful and therefore more consistent. And we did a little video with her earlier on, and you can find that on both of our Instagram pages and her Instagram page as well. So please do definitely go and support her and follow her. And yeah, you lot know what I do. Naturally, you coach, look at your blood, talk about sea moss and kale and vitamin C powder and all that good stuff, and ask for watermelon and salmon, and that's what I do. You can find me at thenaturallyoucoach.com. You can find this handsome drink of chocolate at mybaobablearning.com. And don't try and look for him at We Design either, because
yeah,
We Design was a lovely part of his life for a long time, but now this is going to be the main focus. So yeah, so you can only find him at My Baobab Learning now. And yeah, also check out my brother Julian Hall, obviously. Yep. Ultrapreneur, Ultra Education, Ultra Kids, Ask Ultra, Startup Dash, all of those awesome things that have come from my brother as well. And if you guys have got stuff that you think can help, like if you've got other educational resources that can help Black children and group economics and teaching children about financial literacy and education and all those kind of stuff, then definitely get in touch with Jeremy so that he can help you promote your stuff as well to his audience, because again, that's all part of group economics, not just among the children, but we actively practice group economics as well. And we actively want to promote as many, like I actively want to promote as many Black health businesses as possible. My husband is, you know, more on the education bit, so he promotes a lot of that stuff as well. So yeah, let's all work together. Let's do the thing. Let's be the example for the pick of them. And
sorry, let me just quickly add as well before we sign off. Yeah, I'm talking about sharing people's ideas and stuff. Since I've been doing the book, I think a lot of what I do is based on the feedback I get from you know, parents and educators and the children as well. So yeah, that's very key in what I'm doing. So I just did an interview earlier on, and one of the people that was in the audience was asking certain questions. You know, when are we going to get such and such? And I was like, that's perfect, because like when I hear that, I'm like, you know, if there's a need for it, then I'm gonna do it. You know, I don't want to do what I think is going to be good. I want to do what people want and what people need, kind of thing. So people's feedback and ideas are, you know, very much needed. So yeah, you know, if you could reach out, send me an email, you know, or you know, go to the website, and yeah, you know, if you got ideas, and you know, let's see if we can make it happen.
I did see an idea come through actually.
Oh,
about a book called yeah.
Yeah.
About a book called I Have the Best Wife in the World and Her Name's Leah Salmon.
Yeah,
so
we're definitely gonna make that one.
You could definitely get started on that one, and then, you know, if any of the other book ideas come through, you can, you know,
if you've got time.
If you've got time, because that's going to be a big book. So if you've got time, after that, then we'll get to the rest of them. But anyway, thank you guys. I'm going to come off now because literally the joke's just going to get far worse. Love you all.
Thank you very much.
Speak to you soon. Take care. Stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.